ummed and ahed about making this video, by the way, because I don't normally work on leaked content or whistleblowery sort of stuff. But in this case, it kind of is quite depressing, so I want to talk about it. I'm not talking about because it's depressing, and that makes me want to share it. Take what I'm about to say with a pinch of salt if you want, but I believe the source. This was given to me anonymously, a whistleblower of sorts. At present time, you cannot qualify for a regional championship in competitive Magic via the format of Legacy. Legacy is the old format, right? Barring Vintage, it is the format where you can play everything, excluding like a ban list. Whilst Vintage needs Power 9 and similar stuff, Legacy needs less of that and is therefore a little bit more accessible, although struggles to be accessible due to the cost of reserve list cards like dual lands. I would love to see us move towards a pro-proxy agreement for reserve list cards, for instance, to allow us to have the format grow and be played, because it's a very fun format and also part of the game's history. That's another thing. Anyway, you can't qualify for regional championships through any sort of Legacy RCQ, therefore people don't hold Legacy RCQs. Legacy is considered not a competitive format by Wizards of the Coast. However, there was a workaround for that. It was quite a cool one too. Team trios. In team trios, 3 players sit down against 3 other players, teams, and they compete, each team member being in a different format. Normally, Standard, Modern, and Legacy is the traditional way to do it. These events aren't all that common, but if you can go searching for them on Facebook, you'll see that they appear throughout America. You'll see that Nerd Rage Gaming and Star City Games also run these. And if there's a Legacy seat, the Legacy seat can still win an invite to a regional championship through the regional championship qualifier if their team wins. It's a hand-me-down. It's a loophole. It's something that they've allowed to happen to allow people to still play Legacy with high stakes somewhere within the current situation of organised play. This has been going on for about 2.5 seasons since organised play came back. The Pro Tour came back. GPs came back. In reality, it's a championship and it's an RC, and they don't want to use any of the old names because the old names have such, I don't know, pedigree and such expectations attached to them. A longer video that's coming out a little bit later today, I still haven't edited it, but that's me talking about the recent announcement of a limited GP for a lot more money than it should cost to go to a limited GP. Look out for that video in the next few hours. So they decided after 2.5 years just to say no. If you run a team trios, that is Modern, Standard, and Legacy, the Legacy seat, the Legacy player of your team, when they win that invite to the regional championship, when they win through to the next step in this fucking triangle that I'm showing on screen now, the Legacy player will no longer get an invite. Thus, ergo, hitherto, therefore, people will stop offering Legacy seats in the Team Trio events. And the thing is, I get it from some perspective, that accessibility to organised play, accessibility to being in the organised play and the professional dream, if that's not really a thing anymore, is better with accessibility. It's better if the formats you can get into are cheap, but Modern isn't really cheap, and that's not frowned upon in this way. And ultimately, sure, there are, I was searching Facebook earlier, there are hundreds of tournaments throughout the year that are in other formats, Pioneer being the primary one, feeding into a Pioneer championship at the end of it all. Sorry, I misspoke earlier. Most of these team trios that I'm looking at are Pioneer, Modern, and Legacy. The NRG series, for example, has one on July 8th and one on October 15th. Ultimately, this will only matter to a handful of us who still love this format and wish it had been given some sort of life support from Wizards of the Coast. I get that it's not accessible because of the card prices from mistakes that you have made as a company, but it is the format where you get to play with everything. And it is a format that people really love because the gameplay is interesting. Far more interesting than Modern is at the moment, in my opinion. My love of Legacy was a lot stronger pre-COVID when I could get out to events, side events at GPs and similar. When GPs died off, it made it hard for me to play Paper Legacy. There is a proxy event for Legacy happening this week in my local area. I can't go, I'm predisposed already. Having a baby sucks up some of your time. But what I'm saying is, even my love for Legacy was dampened by COVID taking away the option to be able to play Paper. And then there's Magic the Gathering Online is the one place that it really lives. But even 5 years ago, I was complaining about Magic the Gathering Online being a difficult program to make watchable, palatable, or interesting, or even to click through yourself. Meanwhile, with the new clients like Arena, they decided to focus upon printing new digitally unique cards instead of filling out the existing roster of the game's legacy and history to fill out Pioneer, Modern, or Legacy. There seems to be so much focus on what they can sell us in the future. They don't even seem to want to milk our nostalgia in the past. Unless it's an extreme way at $1,000 for stuff that they can hopefully sell to whales outside of Magic. I don't think the $1,000 proxies of the fucking anniversary edition was to appeal to people like you and I who are watching this who care about Legacy, because you probably collect this because you care about Legacy. Those things were to appeal to collector markets outside. That was chasing that huge golden whale that is the Pokemon collecting community. It was fucking nothing to do with a love letter to the community and the old enfranchised players like myself and perhaps you watching this. And that's what really fucking grinds my gears, is that there's so much focus on alchemy, or putting Lord of the Rings into alchemy and historic, and putting new cards into historic on Arena, and there's no focus on the old stuff. Legacy tournaments will still exist, perhaps in mainland Europe. Places like Italy seem to have quite a thriving community, if you believe Andrea Mangucci's Twitter feed, right? But it's really sad to see that they now don't factor into organised play at all and never can. Wizards have closed that door. They've tightened up the loophole. I use the word loophole, but I would like to imagine they allowed it to exist to throw a bone to people who want to play a little bit of Legacy a few times a year at a Team Trios event they're going to travel 10 hours in the car to. And now they don't even have that option. The last competitive area for Legacy is online championships on Modo. And there's also showcases and shit too. I won't lie to you, I've always found the online stuff with Modo, beyond playing leagues and the weekend challenges, I've always found it a little bit nebulous to navigate. Hell, you'll probably watch this and thinking, what the fuck does it matter about RCQs and RCs? Because it's not like it used to be. I guess in pushing Legacy away from the Team Trios format, it pushes them to do Standard, Modern and Pioneer, right? 3 formats that they want to focus on. Maybe this is part of their new focus on Standard. I asked my source for this if there was any rhyme or reason given by Wizards yet, and there hasn't been. They don't seem to appear to need to give us a reason, right? They just do what the fuck they want. I get it. I get that Standard, Modern and Pioneer are much more palatable to a company that can reprint all the staples in those formats and make money from them. But, I don't know. It's ironic, right? That the game's legacy is falling to the wayside as they make a format like Legacy not part of competitive Magic anymore. Legacy is dying has been a call for a long, long time, but stuff like this makes me feel like it's true. It really does. That's it. I don't really have anything witty to say. I just want to share the information with you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.